Hey, good Friday afternoon to you. Welcome to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio or those watching on YouTube. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. Where are you set up, Tommy? Is that in just the media center?
In the same media center that I was in the other day where I had the phone sitting on coffee cups.
Yeah, no, I just love the backdrop.
They put these images up, unless I missed them the other day, but... I'm an idiot, Matthew. I have this.
I wasn't wanting to go there, but if you want to go there, go there.
I'm going to go there. Good afternoon to everybody. First of all, let's start with that. Coming at you from the Media Center, aka the Downtown Community Arena, here at Rogers Place. And so I have this stand with a light, and it holds the camera and my phone. I had it in my backpack the other day during the oil stream on Wednesday, and instead I'm at the table with coffee cups and the sleeve, and I'm putting my phone on there, and it's shooting up to my nostrils when I had this whole setup in my backpack. I'm an idiot, and I know that most people understand this already going into it, but it just hit me yesterday when you and I discussed it together.
Yeah, it was just when you looked over at me in the press box, you're like, yeah, everything you just said, I'm an idiot. And then you explained it all. And I thought when you were telling me the story that you just forgot it at home, that like the light was forgotten at home, you just forgot to bring it. And then you're like, yeah, no, it was in the backpack right next to me. I was like, oh, yeah, I can't defend you on that one there, Tommy.
No, I'm not skilled with production. Let's just put it that way. Never have been, never will be.
You TV guys, you guys always have the Parkers of the world setting you up for stuff like that. I do also want to say we're now less than an hour away from the start of Euros, so soccer season about to begin here. Just throwing that out there. Also, congratulations, Tommy. 1 year. 1 year ago today, we didn't have a job. We did not have a job 1 year ago today.
We're clapping for this.
I'm clapping. I came after the morning show. I came and shook hands with Eric and Dusty. Like, congratulations. We did. Well, like, look.
Oh, my God.
Look where we are. Look what we're doing. You're at a Stanley Cup Final in a media center here in Edmonton, representing Edmonton Sports Talk. I'm sitting here in our studios, the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios in the West End, with our beautiful logo behind us of Edmonton Sports Talk. And to a degree, none of that can happen if Bell doesn't let us free. That's the way I'll look at it. They let us free. They let us go, and we were able to create this. So, yeah, no, I'm going congratulations in full. Like, we did it. We did it.
Yeah, we scrambled by the seat of our pants, Matthew. And listen, we had a great run there. Yours was much longer than mine. I was just talking to Yaremchuk, who's here, and we were discussing it and how things have changed over the last few years for everybody, especially us for the last year. But it's crazy. Like, even being at Hudson's the other night for Game 2, and it was Dan and Paul I was talking to, some AM Nasties, and they were telling me about their recollection of that morning, and I was like, you know what, it's incredible to hear how people remember. They're like, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was here, and then I was just lost for the rest of the summer. And we felt, I think we felt a little bit of that, Matty, like that day maybe, but then we quickly had to regroup and figure out what's the plan going forward. Do we try to go back to AM, or do we recognize that this is the future and we do it on our own? And I think we made the right choice, and we couldn't have done it with without our sponsors, without the viewers and the listeners, and we've had an opportunity to create something, I think, special. And I'll be honest with you, Matt, like, I loved what we had at 1260.
It's great.
I'm very proud of, and I'm so happy I got to be a part of it for a 4 or 5 year span. But I think that what we've got here is something special, and I just feel like it'll continue to grow. But yeah, 1 year.
We were at this moment.
I guess,
yeah, bittersweet, because for me it was 14 years almost that I was in that building. I went in on the Friday after. I haven't been in that building since. I missed the Bear. I missed the people from the Bear. I missed some of the people from CTV. We saw Kent Morrison yesterday, which was awesome to see from CTV. And Morning Live. So that's what I miss from over there. But I'm also like, no, what we have here is amazing. And you're 100% like all the sponsors that have jumped on board. A huge thank you for believing in us, especially those last summer who jumped on before we even started anything. But then our listenership, like to all the nasties out there, it's these playoffs. Like, I'm not going to go into the full numbers here. I'm completely blown away by what I've seen by the numbers. In fact, like a couple weeks ago, I texted all you guys with, I can't remember how I started. I think it was Holy Bleep. And then and then I had what I would say. Like at that point for me, I was like, gee, like I look at the numbers almost daily. And then there was just a moment I saw something and I was like, geez, like how is this happening? So it's to everyone that is tuned in, like a huge thank you for all of that. And it's just like, yeah, we're not even still at a full year yet of this. But going from like last year at this time at noon, I think we were still at Eric's place, you and I. Yep. And having a couple of drinks before we headed over to Boston Pizza for some more drinks, and some more people came out. To go from that to all of a sudden now we're on the air doing our own thing and having a lot of fun with it. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. This is 1 year. Tomorrow will be 1 year of the actual station being powered down, where there was that message that went until tomorrow. It'll get powered down. And I have my buddy, our engineer from over there, Trev, not UYTT. He actually has a video of the station just going quiet. But that's a bittersweet one. So there we go.
You know what, Matty? Like 80 years CFRN 1260 was on the air, right? And you and I are from here, and I tell people I should not have been the last host on the air on that station. As much as I'm proud to be a broadcaster from Edmonton, and I've had the good fortune of working for so many great outlets, and that should not have been me. Saying coming up next, AJ Jakovic. We're going to talk Sens and Red Blacks. This is the Nielsen Show on TSN 1260. It's insane. It shouldn't have been me. It should have been Dusty.
Weekly rankings of power is the last thing, the first segment-wise that we do. Like, of course. Just absolutely amazing. This text comes in, EST greater than the old place, not even close. It's... I won't lie. I'll never badmouth the old place fully, just because we did have a great group there, and the group that we had were absolutely amazing. Go still listen to the Bear, Yukon and McCord in the mornings. Jess Jackson will be on in the afternoons, and if you listen at the right time in those afternoons, you'll hear a familiar voice in the name of Tom Gazzola with Jess talking some Edmonton Oilers. Let's get into things here. Mike in the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Well, boys. Booking off the 24th to watch Game 7 live. The Oilers don't like anything to be easy, but damn, it won't be forgotten. Let's go Oilers. Mike feeling super confident, at least at the moment. Tommy, how are things at the rink? The Oilers, they took to the ice at 11:30, if I'm not mistaken. What's the vibe like down there?
Subdued. Yeah, I would call it subdued right now. I mean... Florida went first. They had their availability right at 10:30, and there was a lot of talk about calmness, being poised and embracing the moment. All the stuff you would probably expect from a team on the cusp of winning a Stanley Cup. From the Oilers, they switched things up. They went with a full practice, and they had a few of their black aces on the ice. Phil Kemp was out there. So too was Sam Gagner. Ben Gleason was skating. No Darnell Nurse. No Evander Kane. I think yesterday kind of, and Matty, you and I were sitting by each other in the press box last night, and that second period, that was it. Like that was the sails being, everything being deflated, balloon, whatever, popped, all those things. Like that's what happened last night. And so Edmonton's in that mode where it has to just go and say, hey, one game at a time, try to win the next day. But I can tell you this, media-wise, team-wise, outside of the Oilers, probably nobody wants to go back to Florida for a Game 5 outside of the Oilers. And listen, I'd like to see a Game 5. I'd like to see a Game 6, and I would like to see a Game 7. Yeah. But I think a lot of people here, if you polled the room and canvassed it, they'd be like, this thing's over.
Well, yeah, and I just even think of it from a Panthers perspective. Look, I don't believe any team thinks about, well, it'd be great to win this on home ice. Because you don't want to get into that situation where if you drop Game 4, then you go to home ice, and what if the Oilers get it? Then all of a sudden you're flying back to Edmonton, and it's a 4-2 or 3-2 series, and then now there's a little added pressure. I know fans might think that way. I know there's some Panthers fans that would be like, it'd be great if they, it's not the worst thing if they lose Game 4, win it on home ice in Game 5. So I don't think the Panthers will think that way as players. But I could just imagine that team, if they lose tomorrow, there's no way they're going to want to fly back to Edmonton. There's no way that they're gonna look at that and they're gonna make sure everything's left out on the ice at whatever the arena is called out in Florida. I forgot that one.
Amarant Bank Arena.
Bank,
They finally renamed it.
They're not going to want to have that long flight back to Edmonton for a Game 6. Like I'll be very. You and I were talking yesterday about how the mood is going to be down around the rink tomorrow and around the city, because yesterday, after our wonderful hangout, again, thank you to Jonathan Torrens and Alice Moran for joining us. Thanks, Tommy, for setting that up. I walked to get my accreditation pass at the rink and walked through the plaza, and there was a buzz. There was people walking around. Then you go on Twitter, and there's all these pictures, and people. There was a vibe because of the Stanley Cup Finals is here in Edmonton. Here we go. I don't think we're going to get that vibe again tomorrow, because it's just the situation that the Edmonton Oilers are in, and this is a very difficult thing to come from. Before we look moving forward still of this, you mentioned the 6-minute span in that second period. Do we want to look at who's to blame, or like what happened there that caused the Oilers to just have that span there where they had a great third period, they made the comeback, but it's that 6 minutes in the second that put you down 4-1. What happened there in your eyes, Tommy?
Yeah, I'll start with this, Maddie. Like, even on the post-game show, there was a lot of finger pointing, and that happens, and especially naturally at this time of year here in the Cup Final. Every little mistake is heightened and amplified and made bigger, and there's people dumping all over Darnell Nurse and people dumping all over Evan Bouchard and Stu Skinner. What happened was the Oilers put themselves into little jams, and the Panthers, who continue to be a strong team and have exposed and taken an inch and turned it into a mile, did it last night. You see the play at the blue line. McDavid makes a play to Bouchard. It's a little bit tight. Barkov's right on top of him. And then all of a sudden, look at this. Hi, buddy. There you go.
Hey,
Finally
Jack,
making your first appearance on EST.
Finally a well-dressed guest on this program.
Oh, my God.
Well, you could have been
Somebody get this guy a Tic Tac.
At least he stopped by to say hi to us today, as opposed to when we were in Vegas and he just walked away and big-timed us.
Well, here, I got a double whammy. Hey, Dan, good to see you. Welcome back to town. I got one more treat for you.
Who's this one?
Here.
Great to see there's one good guy.
Well,
oh, my God.
He's friend of
Bob
EST.
Stopper. Oh, my God, it's Bob Stopper.
Bobby, what do you got?
Bob is on the oil stream. Bob is here.
We needed to mix in a couple more waters last night. You're doing a great job. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Bobby. There you go.
Why does this always happen when Dusty's not around? Why does this always happen when he's gone? This is amazing. He's going to be so frustrated. Bob with his second appearance on EST. He is now a friend of the oil stream and said some kind words right there.
Yeah, Bob.
Third appearance. When was his third appearance? Oh, he waved on the screen.
Bob slipped in there when Bernstein was on in
Florida.
Yeah,
but he spoke on the mic and he came in and he said he loved what we're doing. And wow, I didn't even know what you were saying beforehand.
It doesn't matter what I was saying beforehand.
And no offense to Jack. I would love that Jack was on. That was great. But then all of a sudden, it's Bob.
I know.
Wow.
The boys, one more. Hey.
Who's coming? Who's coming?
One more.
Who's coming? Who do we have?
Who do we have here? He's the mayor of the city.
Come on.
Mayor of the North Side.
Mayor of the North Side.
Oh, come on.
The South Side.
He's got to wave. The other two waved.
Hey, what's the matter for you?
Say hello.
There, Gene Principe back on. Hey, Gene. Italy wins tomorrow?
He says, hey, Gene, Italy wins tomorrow. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. It'll be perfect timing, and I'm going to try and sneak home to see Germany, but I don't think I'm going to make it. But for sure, tomorrow, Italy after the morning skates. Viva Italia. Pasta, vino.
Forza Azzurri.
At the same time. And calcio.
Forza Azzurri, he's saying.
Forza Azzurri. Yeah. Yes, I'll have my Azzurri jersey on.
Look at this.
Okay.
Guys are already texting me pictures.
People are already texting. Okay, thanks, Paisan. There you go. We're in good company here. What now? What? Oh, here we go. More.
Now, Iwanyk, what's the share that we get? Because obviously, I know the listenership has spiked since Stoff and Principe. Because I mean, certainly this guy isn't going to drive numbers. So, all I'm asking for is I'd like 15% for myself and then 10 for Bob and Gene. Just appropriate values. Right?
Let's see what Iwanyk says. Oh my God, drives a hard bargain. That guy.
I got Dusty texted. I'm listening. Goddamn Stoff. Upset that Stoff is not around again when Dusty's here. This is amazing. Dusty's never going to take a day off of work again, I think, just because of the amount of times.
Dusty's mad because it's always when he's not there. So he's mad. And he says, God damn, stop showing up when I'm not there.
What's going on? What's happened? What's the latest?
Yeah, what's the latest?
We look like stepbrothers, you know?
We do look. Well, it's like good to be on camera with you again.
You got to get a contract.
He wants a contract.
I got news for you. I don't think I've ever driven numbers anywhere.
And look at this. Now Noodles is here. Like everybody, Noodles is familiar to the station.
Hey,
obviously.
what's going on?
Yeah,
Are we on top? What is this?
This is the oil stream. There we go. There's Jamie
Oil
Noodles
stream.
McLennan.
Yeah, no Dusty
Morning show
today.
insider.
Dusty, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a better looking guy. Look
Oh.
at the hair is on point.
Thank you.
Love it.
You can stop a bullet with this hair, Noodles.
Have a good one.
There you go. There.
I just
Edmonton
want to now
Oil.
do the rest of the show of just different the members of the media coming in for a quick 30-second hit and then walking away.
All I have to do is wave them over. They're all walking by to go to the food station.
Oh,
so
you picked the right
it's not hard.
spot.
I'm in the perfect spot to do it. So yeah.
Oh, jeez. I don't even know where to go from here. I don't even know what we're talking about. This is just amazing.
I guess there was a hockey game last
Yeah.
night. I don't know.
Hot damn. That was great. That is wonderful. The only person
Right?
we're missing now is Cam Moon, I guess, out of all of this. One day. One day.
Mooner, I haven't seen yet. If I see him, I might. He might not want to say anything, but he
He
would
could
probably
wave.
wave to everybody.
We just had Jack. We just had Bob. We just had Gene. We just had Noodles. He's more than able to jump on. This is epic.
And Bob's getting texts from people, from viewers and people.
See?
So he's excited. Bobby's
the power
excited.
of VST. It's the
good
power
to
of
see you
VST. Okay, let's try to focus a little bit here and get back to
Sure.
to talking about this
Why not?
game yesterday. Is part of what happens is just the difference, kind of like Stuart Skinner to me has been a fine goalie throughout these finals, but last night you're getting the difference of the great goaltending of Bobrovsky, who was brilliant in net once again for the Panthers, and on the other side, that second goal, which led to the start of that little snowball effect, was Stuart Skinner making a mistake.
Yep. Yeah, and it was we were talking about little mistakes that the Panthers were exposing, and like I said, like you make a little mistake, the Panthers are so good, playing so well, have been this entire postseason, essentially for the entire year, really, that they can expose that and turn a small one into a big one. They did that last night. Edmonton did shoot itself in the foot. You heard the players talking about it. We're going to talk about it again. They're talking about it on the broadcast. It was. I'll start with that first goal again. It was a quick play. McDavid was wheeling around, and he tries to make a play to Bouchard. And Cass talked about it last night. Bouchard, instead of keeping it on his forehand, noticing he didn't have a shot, noticing that it was Barkov on him, and then firing it into the corner and let a guy like Zach Hyman go to chase it down and be a dog on a bone when he's getting pucks in corners. He tries to make a move. Barkov strips him, 1 pass, 2 pass, streaking Reinhart back of the net off a really nice redirection, slow on the back check, like the Oilers have been for the majority of this series, unfortunately. 1-0. And then they get the equalizer. That's great. The second goal, bad giveaway by Skinner. And people were mad when Skinner was speaking to the media and they were asking him about that goal. He's like, I need to look at it again. And I told people, they're like, how is he not upset? Why isn't he showing his frustration? Well, yes, he's pissed off. Of course he's disappointed in himself. But we've seen the way Stu Skinner handles adversity and the spotlight and scrutiny of the media. He's different in how he handles it. And I think that kind of set some people off. And they were emotional after the loss, certainly. But he made a big mistake. That was a fatal error. Good forecheck, and the Panthers took advantage. And then there was the third goal. Again, soft play in the corner by Broberg. Darnell Nurse doesn't do a shoulder check, and it's in the back of the net. Bennett buries it. And then the 2-on-1, I mean, I think, the wheels were falling off at that point, and they give up a 2-on-1, and no mistake made there. Game over, basically. But good on them for bouncing back in the third period, getting a couple of goals. And Matty, I'll sum this up with this point. How did they score those goals in the third? They're greasy goals.
Yeah.
They're greasy goals. They finally started doing
Pucks
what they
on
said
net.
they should be doing. Yeah. And it was guys that, I mean, the Broberg goal went off of, was it Montour's elbow? Like, it was missing the net. You just fire it at the net and see what happens. And I know Bobrovsky had a little bit of luck go his way on some redirections and stuff, and there's been posts this series. But when you're passing it around, and they kept passing it around and overcomplicating things, you're going to end up with the same result. Unfortunately, that happened last night, and it was a dagger, man.
How much is that, though? Like, did you think the Panthers played a little bit of a different third period and, kind of played back a little bit, which allowed the Oilers to come back, or is that a period that you look in the Oilers actually just they played a better way, and that was why they were able to bring it to the Panthers?
I think the Panthers definitely sat back. I mean, they knew that they had a comfortable lead. They're good with leads, and they feel confident in their game, as they should. But, good on the Oilers for continuing to press and not just, just die on a vine, basically. They kept pushing, and they got a couple of goals, and they did create a spark for themselves, and they did make it interesting at the end. If you're Paul Maurice, you're probably looking at that and you're breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief, but they had such a cushion and they've been playing so well that you could probably bank on them closing that one out. But, maybe he reminds his guys that in this postseason, not just with the Oilers, but in many series, no lead has been safe. A lot of multi-goal leads have been wiped out, and another one was almost vaporized last night. And the Panthers, although being the best team right now in the postseason, and certainly about to become the best team in the NHL in 23-24, unless the Oilers make a miracle happen, they need a reminder and a shot in the arm from the coach to close it out as well. So that would probably be something I'm assuming he would tell his guys.
This is the Oil Stream. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and who knows who else is going to jump in on the Oil Stream today. Portions of this hour brought to you by Boston Pizza Playoff Menu, which is available, featuring the halftime square footer, a flight of wings, the triple play platter, and the new Chipotle chicken quesadillas. Fuel your fandom at Boston Pizza. Going to want to read some texts here that we've got. Propane Plimp saying Skinner blinked and the Oilers got caught pinching and cheating for offense, knowing scoring against Bob has been an issue. Stamphater, the best Darnell Nurse has looked in the NHL was next to puck-moving defenseman and Baron Barry. I know the analytics behind it sucks, but I really think you should revisit Bouchard and Nurse as a pair. Find someone to play top pair next to Ekholm and give Bouchard Nurse the offensive starts. As we look ahead to tomorrow's game, what changes are you think we're going to see from Chris Knoblauch and this team? Like, is this a time you throw a Sam Gagner out there just to spark things? Do you just completely mess with everything else? If you're Chris Knoblauch, how are you looking at how you would approach this game tomorrow?
Good question. Us dealing with Chris Knoblauch, watching him work since November, I think, he's probably being methodical, and I think that's part of his MO. We recognize that. I don't know if he'd let the heartstrings kind of, tug at him to put a Sam Gagner in. I think that there's nothing to lose putting Sam Gagner in. He was out there with the main group today.
Can I just jump in there on that? Because it's also like, I don't look at Sam Gagner as the heartwarming story. I look at it as that at times this year he's gone in to be the spark. And he could do that for an occasional game.
I was going to say that.
Okay. I'll let you then continue that.
I'll
let you continue then with that. We're on the same page with that.
But
that's what we've seen from him. And it's like, I could see you put Sam Gagner in for game 4, and if you lose, or if you win, I should say, he still doesn't play game 5. Because he's just there to provide that spark for you. And that to me, it's not even just necessarily a heartwarming story. That's why you go there and playing on the heartstrings. I feel like you could make an actual hockey case based on this season of why you would throw Sam Gagner out there.
And that's why it's a bit of a double whammy is when he has played, when he has gotten into games in the NHL, he's been effective. Now, it's when he got into game 3, 4 in a row where Sam Gagner looked like he ran out of steam, and you could kind of tell that he doesn't have much left in the tank. But for one game here, one game there, 2 games here, 2 games there, he was good. And he, like you pointed out many times, in that Dallas game when the Oilers were pretty bad, and they had Gagner in the lineup that one night at home. This was during the regular season. He sparked them with a couple of greasy Sam Gagner goals, and he hasn't been a detriment to the lineup when he has played. And you could damn well be assured that if he got into one of these games, he would give you everything, whether it was 6 minutes of, mop-up garbage time or if they were putting him into prime time. I'm guaranteeing you Sam Gagner is going to do everything in his power to be a difference maker in a positive way for the Edmonton Oilers. Just watching him today, Matty, I put up a video of him during practice.
On your Twitter?
He was trying to score on every single shot. Yeah. He was trying to score on every single shot. He was getting mad when he, missed the net on an opportunity. He was trying to bang in rebounds on flow drills. Like, he is practicing like he's going to play. And I appreciate that mindset. And, he could have just gone out there and gone through the motions and looked around and be like, oh, this might be my last time out here as an Edmonton Oiler, as an NHL player. And no, he's out there swearing and being like, why didn't I score that? Or when he scores, you can see him kind of give a head nod. He's like, I felt good about that shot. Like, he's still a competitor, and kudos to him, man, because a lot of other guys would probably be like, you know what, take my NHL salary and I will coast my way home and then figure things out in the next year in the off season or whatever. But that's not what he's doing, and that's the testament of a true pro.
I just retweeted from the Edmonton Sports Talk account that video that you posted up there, so you can head to @TomGazzola. Look for it on Twitter if you already follow. Well, you should follow both of us, but also just check out @YEG Sports Talk on Twitter. Retweeted that video. Is someone else coming? Are you looking at someone else there?
Just they have Sam. No. It's Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and
they're speaking.
I'm not sure who the other guy is at the point. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it.
No, all good. We will, in a moment, get to the $100,000 hole-in-one contest qualifying presented by Golf Town here on the Oil Stream. Just a reminder, as we're talking about Oilers, hopefully it's not the last one, but the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show tomorrow, 4:30, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in as well as on YouTube. Tommy in his downtown satellite studio for the pre- and post-game show. We'll have that for you again, 4:30 tomorrow. And then tonight, though, Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge is where Jay Milne and myself, we will be at... As I said, Centric Casino. We're going to be there for 6 o'clock. Our show gets going. The Green and Gold kickoff show.
Nice.
As Elks will get set to take on the Als down at Commonwealth Stadium at 7 o'clock. Dustin Nilsson on the call with Glenn Suter. And on sidelines will be that man you see on your screen if you're on YouTube on the left, Tom Gazzola. They'll have the call for you on TSN. But come down to Century. We've got the wall of TVs. So you can watch the game with Jay and myself. We'll be there the entire game today. You can watch the pre- and post-game show. If you still want to go to the game, too, the LRT's right there. Jump on the LRT. They have great game day specials as well. Throughout the game, you could get the cheese and jalapeno smoky for $14, 6 o'clock lager in cans on special, as well as a game day draft for $5. That's all tonight. And we had a thing here on Edmonton Sports Talk, and it'll happen tomorrow. You could ride with Edmonton Sports Talk all playoffs long in Coolbet. We had EST parlays every game day for the Oilers. I'm wondering if I'll have to do it or if Dusty will do it for tomorrow's game 4. I got the boys to do one for the Elks, though, today. And it just got posted.
Nice.
So we got an Elks game day parlay right now. McLeod Bethel Thompson over 2+ passing touchdowns. It's a 2+ passing touchdowns. Eugene Lewis against his former club, 70+ receiving yards. And the Elks to cover 4.5. That's plus 365. So go to Coolbet, click on exclusives. They give us a little boost, but plus 365. MBT, 2+ passing TDs. Eugene Lewis, 70+ receiving yards. And the Edmonton Elks to cover 4.5. That's
cool. Really quickly on the CFL. I know, at our station we're doing weekly picks.
Yeah.
How about the Red Blacks last night, man? Wow, and the Bombers 0-2. I had the Red Blacks. I didn't think that the Bombers were going to cover the spread, so I went with the Red Blacks, and then they go and they beat the Bombers. That was impressive.
I think there's a couple that picked Ottawa. No, okay, only me and Milne. Only me and Jay did not pick Ottawa. Everyone else picked Ottawa to cover that. But, it sucks that we were busy the last 2 Thursdays. Last week we had the Elks dinner. Last night, Oilers game 3. Because I haven't watched the Bombers now, so I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know why they don't look good. But this is fascinating to see that now it's 2 weeks in a row they haven't really produced. And is this the end of the Bombers being just such a dominant team, which allows other teams to maybe come up there? Or is Ottawa, this is their first game of the season? Are they a little bit better? So I'm very fascinated by that. When we look at tomorrow's game, it just has to be the cliche that we're going to hear from this team. You can only take it at a game at a time. There's nothing else you could look at.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's exactly what they're saying right now, to be honest with you. Matty, you're down. You're emptying the tank. You do everything you can to just keep this season alive. And you hope you get that first one. Maybe you get the second one. Maybe you get the third one. But I know the percentages and of that happening are extremely low and rare, but you got to try. Yeah. And I said it going into game 3, you're still playing. You're still in this series. Florida still has to win one more game. Until they do, you're in it, and it's bleak, absolutely. Go out there and play. Do everything you can to make sure that the team in red and gold isn't lifting the trophy in your barn, that would be, I think, a good thing morale-wise for everybody.
Especially it's Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah.
You do not want Matthew Tkachuk hoisting that in Rogers Place.
Yeah. Sprinkle that in there because that pisses off a lot of people. I kudos to everybody who had the signs yesterday, by the way, and the turtles and this and that. A couple of Ninja Turtles with the number 19 on their back. I actually saw Zach Cassian yesterday too in the press box. I talked to him a bit. He's looking to stay in hockey. He says he's done playing. That's it. I know he continued in the Czech Republic this year, but he says he's done and now pursuing a job in hockey ops. Maybe we get him on Hello Hockey tomorrow. I'll have to talk to him and see. But yeah, man, do not let the Panthers win on your ice. And I know people last night were saying on the post-game show, 2 Florida teams winning in Edmonton, in Edmonton's arena, and the Oilers not being one of those teams lifting the cup. That kind of stuff matters. Like, it matters. It's a point of pride, I think, for the city, certainly for the franchise. There's nothing that they could have done in 2020 outside of beating Chicago and seeing what could have happened. But they were terrible in that series. Anyway, yeah, like, just get that win tomorrow. Do everything you can, and then who knows what happens. But yeah, it's bleak. Let's not kid ourselves.
That's where I think it starts for tomorrow. It's not necessarily a full game at a time, and it's the survival thing of the two. You don't want the cup awarded on your ice.
No.
And you don't want to be the first team swept in the Stanley Cup Final since, I believe, 98. Right? Like,
that would have been the Caps, right?
Yeah, I believe so, against the Red Wings.
Yeah.
That's, I think, part of the mentality you have to have tomorrow if you're this team is it's that source of pride that they're not winning this cup on our ice. We're not being that team that hasn't that is swept. We are going to go out and get this first game, and then you could worry about Game 5. And whatever motivation you need going into Game 5, you could find that motivation. But for tomorrow's game, I think that's where you look at it is don't want the sweep and don't want to see Matthew Tkachuk and that team lifting the trophy on Rogers Place ice. I will also throw this, though, out there. I mentioned it on the Hangout. To Oiler fans, I understand Oiler fans tomorrow, if they lose, will not want to watch the other team hoist the trophy. I get that if you walk away. But if you stick around, boo the hell out of the Panthers through it all. Boo the hell out of them. Don't give me any, I want you to just make them feel like this was the worst spot to win a cup. Ruin their moment a little bit. Just boo. Boo the whole time. Have some fun with that. Be petty. Be petty. That's what I love to see.
I am more than okay with that.
Yeah. But I also do understand, why. I remember when the Hurricanes won in 2006. I'm a guy that doesn't like seeing my team officially lose. So, the final, 5-6 seconds, I walked away. I'm not going to watch the final buzzer. I'm not going to watch the celebration. I never saw Rob Brendamore lift the cup until it was, so that was 2006. In 2008, I was in New York, and I did a tour of NBC, and I'd gone through 2 years of not seeing the Rob Brendamore lift the cup like all those pictures behind you. And I was at an NBC tour, not thinking much of it. And for whatever reason, part of the whole intro video of this tour, they had Rob Brendamore lifting the Stanley Cup, and I got so mad. I was like, I've gone 2 years without seeing this, and in New York, of all places, at an NBC tour, they're rubbing this in my face. I was not happy. So I do understand anyone that if the Oilers lose tomorrow, just immediately leaving. I get that you don't want to see the other team win it, but if you stay, have those boos. Have some fun with it.
Matthew, one thing about that, I'll put it out there to our listeners and our viewers. If the Oilers don't win tomorrow and the cup is handed out, would it still be worth it to see the cup lifted if it's such a rare thing, right? What do you think about that?
I'm different now because in 2006 I was a full-on Oiler fan. I was having this conversation with my brother because my brother and dad, they have tickets, and I was saying, you got to go to Game 6 if there's a Game 6. And my brother's like, no, not if it's a 3-2 Panther series, I don't want to go because I don't want to risk seeing the Panthers win it. And I was debating that. I'm like, because I'm going tomorrow with the idea of what you're saying, where it actually would be kind of cool. I don't know if I'll ever in my life again get to see someone lift the Stanley Cup after having won it. But I'm also still impartial in this. I'm still now not that Oiler fan. And I understand being a fan, not wanting to see the other team lift it after you lost it. It's not like it was a different, it was to your team. For me, I'm going tomorrow with, it would be kind of cool to see a cup lifted in my life. But I also, the fan in me goes, not a chance in hell would I want to be there for that. What about you?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet.
Like if you were a full Oiler fan, like if you're the Cardinals get to a Super Bowl, you go see the Cardinals, they lose. Are you wanting to watch the trophy presentation of Lombardi?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep. Absolutely. I watched the Stampeders lift it in 2018 at Commonwealth, and I know that was painful for a lot of people. I as much as you're a fan like of a team or a city, like I think that moment is special. We have one more guest stopping by.
Oh, yes. Let's
really
do it.
quickly.
Let's do it. Who do we got? Who do we got? Who's coming on here?
Yeah, I'm not telling you.
I know. I'm just excited. I'm amping this up.
Matthew Iwanyk hosting.
Just who's this?
Look
Who's this?
It's Gaz and Gaz.
Oh my God! It's Luke Gazdick.
Oil and Gaz.
Morning show insider as well.
Morning show. It's Maddie. Yeah. What do you got to say, Gaz, after last night?
Game at a time. They don't have to win 4 games. They got to win one tomorrow night and go from there.
Wise words from a wise broadcaster.
Who's the better looking
there you
of
go.
the two?
There's our boy.
Ask him.
Gaz is the better looking of the
Okay.
two. I'm not saying which Gaz, though. He likes that one. He's good. Great guy, great broadcaster.
So add Luke
was an
Gazdick
awesome
to the
hockey
list
player.
of who we've seen on the Oil Stream. Again, Dusty's never taken a day off of work again. This is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do. Did you finish everything you needed about seeing the history? Yeah.
I just think it's cool,
Yeah.
and that's me being a sports nerd.
No.
And if a team like if the Cardinals lost the Super Bowl, I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
But I'd watch whatever team was lifting the trophy just to see it and be like, I saw that. I got to see it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I saw it. It was a neat experience, regardless.
Let's get to our $100,000 hole-in-one qualifying opportunity, which is presented by Golf Town this Sunday. It is Father's Day. Give the gift of golf this Sunday. And that gift of golf could be done from Golf Town. Head in-store or online, golftown.com. They got everything you need, from apparels to accessories to tech, everything right there from all the top brands. Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Pings, whatever you need. Golf Town's got it for you. Give that gift of golf. And ultimately, if your dad is a little picky, just get that gift card. Dad will be extremely happy with that because then he could go pick what he wants. Or if you're a dad yourself or if you're just a golfer, head to Golf Town for whatever you need for Father's Day this Sunday or for your golf season. This is the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golf Town qualifying opportunity. It'll take place July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. The keyword today is Sergio. Sergio to 780-218-9999. Sergio as in Sergio Garcia. Text that and you'll go into a draw. The 4 qualifiers today, the qualifier from Hello Hockey tomorrow at 10 o'clock and the qualifier from the VIP Golf Show 8 o'clock Sunday morning. We'll all go into a draw Monday morning. We'll draw one of those names. You'll get a call and you'll be the next contestant who will have a chance to swing potentially for $100,000 at our hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town on July 3rd. This is the Oil Stream. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. When it comes to this series, does it remind you a little bit of last year, what we've seen where, the Panthers go up against the Golden Knights, but they were a beaten team, and, they got it to 5, but the Golden Knights were able to just run all over them. This year, the Panthers, they're a healthy team, but we're looking at an Oilers team that just, it seems like the tank's right there on empty, that they've given all that they have, but the injury list is just piling up a little too much. Does this remind you quite a bit like last year?
Short answer, yes. And then it reminds me to bring it closer to home from 2022, the conference final. And I mean, the injury thing, Maddie, I think adds to the resemblance to last year with the Panthers and the Golden Knights. But in terms of an Oilers point of view, when they tried to throw different things and elements and wrinkles into the game against the Avalanche and it just fell flat, it's really taken on that same type of persona. Now it's in the Stanley Cup Final this time. I know that for a fact that series against the Avalanche and the lessons that were learned there helped this team this season. I know last year it didn't work out against the Golden Knights, but I think that, I don't want to use the 83 Stanley Cup loss to the Islanders as a comparison. I think the Crosby loss in 08 before they won in 09 is probably more apropos. But it's funny how history kind of finds a way to repeat itself in different generations and decades. And maybe this is the same. Although this team, when they lose, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe they win. Who knows? when we're talking about the off season, and we're going to on our station a lot and on this show, this team is going to look a lot different next season.
You think?
In a couple of months compared to what we're seeing? Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of change. And it starts with the management.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ken Holland's not coming back. You're going to see a lot of turnover there. And then I think we're going to see a big roster shuffle as well. Expiring contracts, trying to free up cap space, trying to set up keeping Leon Draisaitl. All of that's going to come into consideration. And, Cody Ceci could be on the move. Things like that. Like, listen, I'm going to leave that for after the season ends. But we're going to see a different team, and we'll see how the group that stays from this year uses this experience to try to galvanize them next year.
Well, yeah, and look, so you just have to lose. You have to have those losing moments sometimes to go and win. And maybe this is that final losing that the Oilers need to go off and win a couple of cups. Like, that's the one thing I look at with the Oilers, outside of the concern that some have of Draisaitl, up after next season and McDavid up after 2. I do take the mindset still that, like, look, if they lose this series, they've ultimately lost the last 3 years. They've only been eliminated by the Stanley Cup champs. Like, you're as close to winning as you could be anywhere in hockey, and you're not getting that opportunity. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's a better situation out there than Edmonton to a degree, but, like, the window isn't closing. The window isn't, like, I don't look at the Oilers and go, this is the last year. The window's done, and oh my God, what are you going to do? This isn't 06 where they went on this magical run, and you're like, well, I don't think anyone, even if they signed a lot of those guys, would have necessarily predicted that it'll be easy to get back to the Cup next year or something. The window's completely open for this team, especially when you have the talents that they do. You just have to, as the Penguins, though, it's like you have those top players, but if you go back to all those rosters they had for a number of years, everything else changed a lot. They had a lot of moving pieces, and they moved those things around, and they figured it out. But, from the lessons learned this year, plus whatever changes that they'll make going into next year, look, it sucks. Yeah, Oilers fans are going to be disappointed, likely. Not 100%, but likely. But it's not the end of something. This could be kind of, I don't want to say the beginning of something, because I would say that was the Avs conference finals. But this could be right in, like, that beginning part, maybe the middle of something great that is about to boom onto the scene when it comes to Edmonton. If I want to keep going positively here, I will also say that, like, when you look at the Oilers season and how it's gone from the start of the season to the bad start to the 16-game win streak, it would kind of be just very poetic if they won the Stanley Cup by winning 4 straight here. It does. It does fit this story of this season actually rather nicely. Of how many times we would have thought that this season was done, even in these playoffs. It would be kind of like a perfect storybook, from start to finish, from the captain's skate at the very beginning to everything that's happened, and then all of a sudden being that team coming down from 3-0. That's the thing I will cling on to, like, for the Oilers.
2023, 2024 Oilers. The only word you use is resilient. Like a cockroach. They won't die.
They won't die. It's one of those things where it's like, sometimes I feel like we're living in a simulation in this world. And maybe this is one of those moments where we get the Hollywood storybook written, where now everyone's counting them out once again, but Leon Draisaitl, Sam Gagner in the locker room before Game 4 has this unreal speech that fires up the team, and here they go. They take Game 4. They go take Game 5. All this pressure's on. They come to Edmonton. It's a rocky place. They take Game 6. We go back for Game 7. All of a sudden, boom. Somehow the Oilers have done it. It fits the season.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. It would really fit the season. This team never does anything easy. This franchise, actually.
No, they don't like to make anything easy. So maybe this plays into their favor. Their backs can't be much up against the wall. This is it. There's no more losing allowed. Otherwise, your season's done. Let's jump into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. I do like this pettiness that came in. I kind of want Florida to win tomorrow so their fans don't get to see it on home ice. I do respect that level of pettiness. Like, if the Oilers are going to lose, lose it here so they can enjoy that. Propane Pimp, bright light of this Stanley Cup final has been Broberg. He's gone from a question to an answer for next season roster.
Good point.
Like, what have you made of Broberg's play this year? And Do you think that gives him, marks him down as a top 6 for next year in the defensive core? Like, again, I don't want to look too much into next year's, but
Sure.
is what he's done in these playoffs, where there was a question of can he do and could he help provide anything to this team? He's answered that. Does that solidify his spot moving forward with this team?
Yes, and I talked about it earlier in the season when I checked in about Philip Broberg, and after the trade thing that his agent apparently was trying to get going, and much to the chagrin of the player, he had a bad start to the year. He wasn't good in the preseason. He wasn't good in the games he played at the start of the year. He, among many players, he didn't earn his spot on the roster. He gets sent down. Goes and has a really strong year in the AHL, as he was expected to. And then he gets his look in the end of the season, looked all right. Then he plays in the playoffs. He gets injected into a really tough spot against the Dallas Stars. And he's been good ever since. So I think he has solidified his spot, and it has reassured and cemented that he is a big part of the future going forward. And good on him for seizing the opportunity. Good on the Oilers for maintaining patience and not, bending to the will of the agent and who try to create something. And that's what agents do. That's their job to do that. So this is good that, we're seeing Philip Broberg really take the opportunity. And I think that has put him on the roster next season. Now, how they use them, who gets moved out again, I know people have said, get Brett Kulak out of there. And there's other people saying, get Darnell Nurse out of there. You're not getting rid of that contract. That Darnell Nurse is a core piece of the group, unless whoever the new GM is can convince Jeff Jackson and Paul Coffey and ultimately Daryl Cates that he can move Darnell Nurse and thinks it's absolutely vital to. Otherwise, what is likely to happen is Broberg makes the team next year. I would keep Brett Kulak. I would find a way to move out Cody Ceci. And then we've seen Kulak and Broberg play the right side. You also have Vinny Desharnais. You've got your 7 defensemen, and you work with that. Now, could it be improved in the season? Yes. Like we've seen over the last couple of years, the Oilers have improved their defense. Ken Holland has done a good job bringing in Ekholm, trading out Barrie. They kind of grew from within on the back end this year. I know Stetcher had a very minimal effect. But they were just looking for an added veteran piece, and unfortunately, he developed a cyst on his ankle. Nobody foresaw that happening. I think your defense could be set to start next year, and then listen, you can change it on the fly if you need to. But I think Broberg has done that, and that's kind of one of the silver linings in what has been a difficult Stanley Cup final. But good on him, finally, right? Finally, this guy looks like he's starting to take, and that's a good thing.
Another text coming in. Saturday might be the least contested game. Oilers will be gutted coming in. Panthers know they're traveling back to Miami anyhow. How do you think we're going to... What Oilers team do you think we're going to see tomorrow? Because there's the two ways of I could see this team going, and I think everyone could see there's that where it's the defeated team, and they don't want to, knowing that this is tough. Or there's that team that just is like, we're going to go all out. We have nothing else to lose. It doesn't matter. We're going to get that one win at the very least. What type of Oiler team do you think? Not do you expect? We'd all want to see them have that fighting mentality in them, based on what you've seen all year from this team. Though, what do you think we will see from them?
I think we're going to see the team that empties the tank. I think we're going to see the cliches, does everything it can to gut out a win, maintain the pride of not losing on home ice, and having to watch Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, and the Florida Panthers lift the cup in front of them, in front of their fans, in their home town. No, I don't think they want that. I think they're going to make sure that doesn't happen tomorrow. And I think that would be a good sign too, if that is how they kind of go about it and take care of business that way. I think, and the other thing, like being the first team that swept since 98, what are we looking at here? Like 20,
this is 14,
26 years. Yeah. You don't want that either. Yeah. No, I'll say we see a win tomorrow. And I like positivity, regardless of how bleak it might be. I'll be positive on this one. Say they win tomorrow and kind of send off the hometown fans and the faithful away happy for one more night, which I can certainly appreciate and would be a fitting way to conclude the home schedule for the Oilers. And then who knows? You live another day and see what happens. One game at a time, as a wise man once said about 15 minutes ago, named Luke Gazdick.
Portions of this hour of the Oil Stream are brought to you by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. I am in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio here in the West Ends. Things just got better at Popeyes with their new crispy chicken buffalo wrap, now available too. Classic hand-battered and breaded mild chicken tenders with bold buffalo sauce paired with fresh tomato, lettuce, mild or spicy mayo wrapped in a soft flour tortilla, available in-store or delivery. Just quickly, we only got a few more minutes. What do you think we're going to get from the Elks tonight against the Owls? Are you concerned about this game? Do you think they match up against the Owls? Where are you with the Elks and the Owls?
I'm very concerned if I'd be an Elks fan.
I'll just say this. On the hangout today, Andrew and Kayla from the Turf District Kayla and Jay were feeling good. Andrew has a little bit of nerves. And I have my hand hovering over the panic button already. So I'm close to full panic mode with this team. But you're nervous with this for the Elks?
Yes, absolutely. Listen, MBT spreading out the ball. He had 5 receivers with over 4 catches. Mayala 2 touchdowns. What did Gittins Jr. I think had 40 yards.
I think 9 catches.
Gino Lewis had 85. Mitchell had 95 yards, 96 yards. So he spread it out, but there was no run game. Right, they had 10 attempts from their running backs. Javon Leake with the untimely, brutal fumble. An MBT with 2 turnovers late in the game. The defense got sliced and diced in the fourth quarter. I think the Alouettes looked at that and were just salivating. They're like, "Oh, this is juicy." So, yes, I am very concerned if I was looking at it from an Elks standpoint, especially watching the Alouettes dominate Winnipeg last week. But I think the other thing too, watching the Bombers lose to Ottawa, I think that it is fair. And like you said off the top earlier, this isn't the same Bombers team. And listen, I know they're without Lawler for a while, and I know that Oliveira was out too, and that factors in. But you lost to Montreal and Ottawa, and you're the Bombers. Not good. And then if you're the Elks, you're getting a bigger beast than the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that's concerning for sure. But hey, let's see if they can surprise everyone.
For me to have a little comfort in this team going forward, it'll just be lose close if you're going to lose. Let me know that this was a competitive ball game through 60 minutes. Don't make me have a moment throughout this where I'm realizing early on, they don't have a shot in this one. The Owls have this, and we're just running out the clock till I do a post game with Jay and going, we're talking about the Elks losing. Keep it close, and I could live with that. I could stomach that to start this season. Lose big, and you get Toronto
Matty,
and BC coming up, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and Matty, in Week 19 last year, this is a huge chunk of this Alouettes team is a team that won the Grey Cup last year, was here in Week 19. Edmonton had a great first half until, the missed field goal that came back for a touchdown.
It was at the end of the first half. It just collapsed in a minute window.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, and so, the Elks gave them a good run for a good 28 minutes, and then the Alouettes just took over. And I think that's when the Alouettes realized how good they could be, is how they just flexed and then just absolutely, they've rattled off 9 straight wins or something like that.
It was impressive.
They're humming, but if you're the Elks and your guys that were on the team last year, you did compete against these Alouettes. You did give them a run for their money, so try to use as much of that as you can. I don't know how much they dip into last season, but we'll see.
I'm going to put you on the spot for a prediction. Germany, Scotland. Who do you got?
Oh, great.
You're doing the sidelines. I'm not going to keep you impartial for the sidelines tonight. Germany, Scotland.
We all know you're not making a prediction.
I made a prediction earlier. One of these 2 teams will win, but there's a chance that we might see a tie in this game. There you go. Starting today until July 14th, there's a soccer match of the Euros or Copa every single day except for 5 days, first day being July 3rd. So get used to a lot of soccer talk around the ISTE headquarters. But it starts with Redbeard Scott Laurie taking on Lieutenant Eric and Germany in minutes out in Germany. Who do you got to opening of the Euros?
Yeah, there's going to be 11 guys on one side in a German flag, 11 guys on the other side in Scottish colors, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to kick the ball back and forth, and then one team might score a goal, and another team might not score a goal, and there's going to be a loud ovation for one side and not the other. And many fans will be happy, and many fans will be disappointed. And I hope both teams have fun. There's a Matthew Iwanyk special for you. Actually, you know what? I'll just go with Scotland with the upset. How's that? Go with Redbeard.
Hey, I respect that. That'd be a huge
Predict the
start for
unpredicted.
Scotland. A huge start for Scotland. Yeah. I'm super pumped. This is what it's all about to me this summer. I'm loving this. It's just too bad the Oilers maybe aren't going to go a little bit further. Tommy, on the air tomorrow. So tonight, sidelines. Tomorrow, Hello Hockey, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
David Pagnotta, still working on, or do you know who's on tomorrow?
Still working on other guests. Yeah.
And then 4:30.
No.
The
4:30. I don't know.
4:30 GCL Diesel Oil Stream, a pregame show. Tommy, YouTube, Trev, Matt Casson. They'll get you set for Game 4 between the Oilers and the Panthers. And as soon as it's over, Tommy and YTT and Cass, they'll recap whatever happens down at Rogers Place. The cup will be in the house. We know that for sure.
Yes.
Will it be awarded or not? We're going to have to wait and see and find out. Tommy, enjoy the rest of whatever is happening down at the Media Center for the Stanley Cup Finals. Have a great have fun on the sidelines tonight. Enjoy your shows tomorrow. Thank you to everyone for tuning into the Oil Stream here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio as well as those watching on YouTube, especially for those watching on YouTube. A huge thank you to Bob Stauffer, Jack Michaels, Luke Gazdick, Gene Principe, Jamie Noodles McLennan. Am I missing anyone? Was that everyone?
That's everybody.
We got all of it. We appreciate them for jumping on the Oil Stream, especially when Dusty's not here. It always makes it more fun. On behalf of them, Tommy, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in. A Nielsen Show replay coming up next year on our audio stream. Have a great rest of your Friday.